AMYLATTA from AMYLATTA Creations, and I am so excited today to give you the grand tour of my new DreamBox. What's a DreamBox? Well, it's a solution for artists and crafters like me, as well as small business owners of all kinds, homeschoolers, anyone with a hobby who needs a place to store things that can also fold up. When it's folded, the DreamBox looks like a beautiful cabinet or armoire. But when it's opened all the way, you can see just how many craft supplies it can hold. Come in closer and take a look at how I customized mine. Let's start with the center section. I chose to get the Crown Edition on the top of my DreamBox because not only is it the perfect place for my logo and a festive garland, more importantly, it has an LED light overhead. This makes it perfect for my work surface. You'll see the table here, which easily pulls out and creates the perfect space for me to do my hand lettering or for any kind of craft project you'd like to do. It also has storage and the perfect spot for my Cricut machine. Now let's take a look starting at the left-hand side. In the left side door, I started with my glitter. I took these clear plastic jars, which came with my DreamBox, and I organized my glitter by color so that it's easy to find. I did the same thing with loose buttons, and then, for the fun part, I got to arrange my washi tapes and my ribbons. I put these on metal bars, and this way I can see everything that I have, and when I need to use it, I just peel off what I want to use and cut it off. Right here, there's a permanent built-in piece with some cubbies, so I use this for holding some Mod Podge Dimensional Magic, some large chalk markers, and my ever-important Cricut tools. In the lower portion of the side door, I started with my many different formulas of Mod Podge, things like dishwasher safe, fabric, glossy, matte, and of course, extreme glitter. Then I lined up some of my Cricut infusible inks. One of the things I like best about the DreamBox is that you totally customize your own organization system. You get these plastic tracks that go into pre-drilled holes anywhere that you like, up and down inside the doors. They can either hold shelves, which you can place bins on, or you can slide in the clear plastic bins that come along with your DreamBox. I started with a shelf up top, and this polka dot bin, believe it or not, holds more Mod Podge. I might have a little problem. Next, I started using the clear bins that came with my DreamBox. These are the large size, and rather than leaving them totally clear, I chose to use Cricut vinyl and cover them just to go with my color scheme here in my craft studio. Then I labeled them so that I can easily see what's inside. This one holds jewelry making supplies like charms, beads, wire, etc. This one holds more jewelry supplies because I needed 2 bins instead of 1. Then I have paints like watercolors, oil pastels, and other fine art supplies. Then I had a permanent shelf that was built in, so I used that to hold 2 of these medium-sized bins. This one has all kinds of glue and adhesive tape, and this one holds more glitter. Below the permanent shelf, I went back to the large clear bins. I used one for all of my different stencils. Then this one is labeled Kid Craft, but really it's basically general crafting supplies. Things like clothespins, just elastic cording, Scrabble tiles, mini canvases, the kinds of things like pipe cleaners that you know you need to have, but they don't really fit in another category. Then I have all types of fabric paint. Below that, I have foil supplies for my make machine. Then I have all kinds of tape, Scotch tape, duct tape, packing tape, and of course some glue. Below the glue are my multiple glue guns, and then I have heat tools, things like my embossing tool and the heat tool that I use to go along with the scorch marker, which is my new favorite craft supply. At the bottom, I have some random assorted colors of felt, And then I just have some unfinished wood projects and some metal stamps. When I first got my DreamBox and was thinking about how to fill it, these little tiny bins and this thin area were my main concern, because I thought, what could possibly be small enough to fit in there and be organized and make sense? Little did I know, this would turn out to be the most helpful section of the DreamBox. In fact, these are perfect for holding all kinds of pens and markers, which as a hand lettering artist, I have tons of. So this was huge for helping me to organize all of the different kinds of markers and pens that I have. I started at the top with Tombow adhesives, and then you'll see that the rest of the bins on this side, except the one that holds hot glue sticks at the bottom, are nothing but all kinds of markers. I have black and white paint pens, colored paint pens, metallic paint pens. I have chalk pens, I have actual chalk, I have fabric pens, aqua pens, embossing pens, you name it, and I have a little bin full of that kind of pens. It's perfect. Now, let's jump over to the other side of the DreamBox, starting on the far right door. I have so much acrylic paint, as you can see. And previously, I just had it all thrown into a bunch of bins. It was a jumbled mess, and I could never find the color that I was looking for. So, with some help from my wonderful mom and my son, who helped me to arrange them, I put them in a rainbow order so that I can quickly see what colors I have and grab them whenever I need them. Below those paints, I have some Cricut vinyl. Then I have some of my favorite specialty paints. I have coastal decor paint, textured chalk paint, and folk art home decor chalk paint, which is what I like to use for painting furniture. At the very bottom of the door, I have more Cricut infusible ink than what would fit on the other side. In this section of the door, once again, I started with a shelf and a polka dot bin, just because I love the look and it tied into the way that I wanted to customize my DreamBox. This is a spot for specialty paints like Glitterific and Color Shift. Then I shifted to using things for my Cricut. So I have iron-on vinyl, and I have 2 bins full of regular vinyl, removable and permanent. These 2 are on the permanent shelf on this side and hold fabric paint as well as some more specialty paint. Next, I have some Cricut tools and then some more of those general crafting supplies, things like thread, pom-poms, Google eyes, those things that you always need and need to know where to find. This section is what I call Cricut Central. I have specialty materials that I can cut with my maker, things like leather, faux leather, the foiling system for the Cricut, tools, things like that, but all the specialty materials that can be cut. Then I have paper, cardstock, glitter paper, fun things like that. Next is all my Cricut pens. I have infusible ink pens, I have metallic pens, gel pens, you name it. If it can go in the Cricut and write, it goes in this drawer. I have several drawers for Cricut Joy supplies, because the Joy is the smaller machine, it takes special supplies. So I have the Smart Iron-On, I have transfer paper, permanent and removable vinyl, and then I have more Smart Vinyl and Cricut infusible ink. For this, I have the Cricut Joy Max and my little mini Easy Press. I have blanks, things like tote bags, t-shirts, and coasters that are good with the infusible ink. And then at the bottom, I have the Cricut Joy insert cards. Next to that, I have all of my Cricut mats so that I can easily grab the one that I need. The tiny bins on this side are divided into 2 basic categories: paintbrushes and jewelry. The top ones are small brushes, medium brushes, large brushes, kids brushes, stencil brushes, you get the idea. Then we shift into things like chain and bezels for jewelry making, as well as blanks for metal stamping, bracelet blanks, those kinds of things. I do want to point out that the tiny bins can be separated even farther into tinier sections with these little dividers. You can leave those out like I did on the pen side, or put them in if you want to separate your things even further. That brings us to the most important part, I think, of the DreamBox, which is front and center. This is the workstation where I sit and I do my work on the computer as well as my hand lettering work. I do photography and videography from here. I use this as my backdrop when I'm filming national workshops and classes and television segments. So this is the spot that sees the most use. It's also where I wanted to have the craft supplies that I use most often so that I can grab them at a moment's notice. For me, as a hand lettering artist primarily, that meant markers. So I used, this is the tool cubby by Create Room. You can purchase this as one of the DreamBox accessories. I used that to put my Tombow dual brush pens and my Tombow ABT Pro alcohol-based markers. I have them stored horizontally, which is what's best for them to prolong their life, so the tool cubby was perfect for that, and for organizing them by color, so I can very quickly and easily see and grab exactly the shade that I want for my project. I have some other markers in easy reach up here. I have some Tombow markers in this bin, some of which are still in the package, and I also have, down in the carousel, my Fudenosuke brush pens, and I have my Tombow Mono drawing pens, which are good for line drawing and line work. Sometimes I need a pencil too, so I have a drawer here that has regular pencils, it has colored pencils, and of course more pens and markers over here that were overflow and didn't fit anywhere else. I think I have a pen and marker problem, don't tell. In addition to this, I have a bin for jewelry making. This one has my tools. And I like that there's a nice sturdy shelf here because some of these are very heavy. I have some of the metal stamping supplies. I have cutters, wire cutters, pliers. Tools can definitely be a tricky thing to store because you need something sturdy. So I sit them on this shelf. In addition to the supplies that are on here, I have things that are intended to inspire me, like my little signs, my little balloon unicorn, a plant, it's fake, I can't keep them alive, some journals and sketchbooks, and I also like to keep one copy of each of the hand lettering books that I've written because they represent so much hard work and effort and the goal of what I want to do, which is to inspire people and teach them to create beautiful things. You'll also notice that I have my Cricut machine here. It's plugged in through a hole in the back, just like the light is. So it's always on when I need it, and I can easily slide it out if I need to reach it better. And there are 3 drawers here that came with my DreamBox. These are optional, but I chose to have them. One holds my scissors. The one in the center holds the stickers that I sell with my hand lettering on them. And the one on the right holds all my technology that will fit in there. Things like my teeny tiny tripod, my microphone, my webcam, those things go in this drawer. There's one section of the DreamBox that you haven't seen yet, which is actually underneath the table. There's more storage down there, so let's see what I did with that space. You saw that I have my Cricut Explore Air 2 up on top, but you'll notice there's 2 more Cricut machines on the bottom. I also have a Cricut Maker and a Cricut Joy. Those are sitting on the first shelf, and on the bottom shelf I have my Cricut Easy Press, which works as a heat tool, the Easy Press mat, and the case for my Cricut Joy so I can take it on the go. The center shelf is where I keep my heaviest craft supplies. These are my alphabet metal stamps, my steel block, and my hammers. Once again, it's been really tricky for me in the past to find a place to store these tools because they are so weighty, but this shelf is very sturdy and I feel really safe keeping my supplies on it. One of my favorite things about putting my DreamBox together, besides having space for everything and everything in its own space, was customizing and personalizing the DreamBox to make it feel like it's really mine. It's so fun that the DreamBox is basically like a blank canvas or an empty slate when you get it because everything is this beautiful, crisp, clean white. So I had to think about what do I want to do to liven it up and make it mine. The first thing that I did was add gold washi tape to the edges of the shelves. I thought that added sparkle and sophistication, and it went with the theme in my craft studio, which is teal, gold, and blush pink. Of course, I covered the drawers, as I mentioned before, and used some colored bins to add those colors in, as well as my garland. And some of my decorative accents brought those colors in as well. Another thing I did was add polka dots. So on the sides, I added little polka dot stickers as well as larger polka dot stickers at the bottom, just to give it a really personal touch. The last thing that I did was I added vinyl to the insides of the doors. So you'll notice I chose a favorite quote about artists. I hand lettered it in the Procreate app on my iPad Pro, and I cut it from vinyl using my Cricut. So now it says the artist is not a special kind of person, each person is a special kind of artist. So this is another way that I can display my DreamBox partially opened, which again works really nicely for photo shoots, for workshops, for videos. I can have it all the way open, or if I want it to be in the more closed position, I still have something pretty and inspiring as a backdrop. The DreamBox has been a game changer for me. It's helped me to be so much more organized. It's helped me to find my supplies, and I've actually been crafting a lot more because it's so easy just to grab things from where I know they are. It has encouraged me, which my husband loves, to clean up after myself better, because with it being so pretty, I don't want to leave it a mess. So after I finish crafting, I've been really good, for me anyway, about cleaning up and putting things back into their labeled drawers and bins. The other thing that it's done is provided a wonderful hub for my business. This is where I sit and work, it's where I create, it's where I do my filming. It's been so nice just to have one spot in the house where everything happens. I absolutely love my DreamBox. It's a great investment in your business, in your hobby, and I would encourage you to make sure to check it out at createroom.com to see how you can create your own DreamBox and reach your own organizational goals. Make sure to take the Create Room journey so that you can see how this fits in to what your creative personality is and what you're looking for in your crafting space. Thanks again, and be sure to visit me at AMYLATTAcreations.com.